Celebrity Stage Stories is an Edge magazine special presentation. Each issue of Edge explores a compelling theme with an intriguing blend of essays, articles, and photography, along with interviews with the biggest names in TV, movies, music, and more. Visit Edge Magazine's website for free digital versions of the magazine, exclusive digital content, and more at edgemagonline.com, and follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram today. Now, on with the show.
So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here at Celebrity Stage Stories. Of course, I am Jerry Strauss. We're here because of our friends at Edge Magazine, and we are here for this conversation because we are getting ready for the biggest fan gathering and the biggest collection of stars from one of the most popular TV shows ever. We're talking about The Office. We're talking about DunderCon, which goes down Secaucus, New Jersey, August 6th and 7th. And we are talking to one of the reasons why this thing is going to be a smash hit sellout. You know him as Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration. Bobby Ray Shafer is here. Bobby, how are you?
Jerry, thank you so much. What an introduction. Yeah, I'm excited for Secaucus. I don't think anybody's ever said that before until now, but it's official. Maybe when the Nets were playing there, who knows? But we're excited. It's going to be fun to see all the old castmates, and of course, the fans are the best ever in the history of fandom. You know, the Star Trek fans want to claim they're the best, but I think the Office fans have them by a mile.
We're gonna show and prove at DunderCon. I think this will be the first big opportunity, especially in the Northeast, to come out in droves and show exactly just how wild a DunderCon party can be for the first time ever.
Ain't no party like a Scranton party because a Scranton party don't stop.
Absolutely. You know, I got to ask you right off the bat, because you have such a long and illustrious career in films and on TV, and I'm sure that The Office is one of the roles that people know you best for.
Sure.
How often, like when you're just living your life, walking around, you know, going out to stores or whatever the case may be, how often do people come up to you and just either say Bob Vance, Vance Refrigeration, or want you to say it? Is that like something that haunts you and follows you everywhere you go?
Well, it certainly doesn't haunt me. You know, I've been saying it now for 17 years. So that's a long time to say a catchphrase. And I still enjoy it. I still say it almost every day, you know, several times a day, I should say. I make cameo videos for the fans, and you know, when I'm out, if I'm wearing the gear, you know, but again, I'm 6'5". You know, when I come rolling in, I mean, you know, I people notice me, and it's not just because I'm tall, but you know, I have a certain presence. I'd like to think after 40 years in show business, you know, one of my very first movie, I worked with Christopher Lee. The great Christopher Lee, Dracula. I mean, Christopher Lee was, you know, I mean, an incredible. I was so intimidated standing next to him. I was like, what are you doing standing here with Christopher Lee? In fact, doing a scene with him, you know. So I don't know what the point of this damn story is, but his sheer presence, you know, I mean, the way that he carried himself, I mean, that's all part of the gig. So no, I'm thrilled.
That's so cool to hear. And obviously, you know, we can see you're hanging out. You've got your Vance Refrigeration sign behind you. You've got your hat. Like, you're clearly still loving being a part of this world that you guys, everyone who we're going to see at DunderCon is kind of a part of for life. Like, you guys are always going to be associated with The Office. Do you feel like in the opportunities you've had to just be around anyone who's been a part of The Office, even if you haven't directly worked with them, do you feel almost like a kinship, like you're part of this fraternity because you've all been a part of this thing that's so big?
Well, sure. I mean, and because it's not static, you know, it's not fixed in time and place. I mean, the show keeps evolving, even though we're not making it anymore. The fans keep changing, right? I mean, that was one of the big things when we were broadcast. You know, we were in a hit. We were in the 40s and 50 Nielsen's every week. I mean, Grey's Anatomy kicked our butt every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Never beat them. I don't know if we ever beat them. Maybe once or twice. But the phenomenon was then after the show was off the air that it really caught on with Netflix and so on and so forth. So I went to Scranton a couple years ago to throw out a pitch at the Wilkes-Barre Yankees AAA ball club there. Yeah. And I was signing autographs for 6 innings. And after I'd done the dunk tank, which I'll never do again, believe me, they talked me into that stupid dunk. And these kids were throwing, Nolan Ryan fastballs from like 10 feet. I went in the water. It was ridiculous. I'll never do it again. But anyway, all the people in this line, well, not all of them, but most of them were like kids that were 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And I was signing autographs. They had CDs and they were coming up going, I binged watched it 10 times. And I'm like, wait, when did the audience change? Because we had 30 to 40-year-olds with the disposable. That's why we were hit, because our NBC, had the ancillary rights. I mean, go on NBCstore.com. You can see how that game works. I mean, for instance, the story I always love to tell, Jerry, is the day after dinner party on the NBC Store website, you could get Scents by Jan, which is the candles that he manufactured on that episode. So that's good marketing. I mean, those were available the day after the episode aired. So, but if you do go to NBCstore.com, be sure to get Vance Refrigeration gear. That I prefer that. You get the sweatshirt, or I like the travel mug. The mug. And that, yeah.
Does the guy who played Bob Vance get an immediate kickback from?
No. Unfortunately, no. The only time you get that deal is if they use your likeness. I mean, when the bobblehead first came out for Rain in season 2, which I don't know if you know this, but it sold, I believe, 250,000 units.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's a big order from China right there. We need 250,000 of them. That's the number I've heard, but I could be wrong.
Again, for those in the area who are possibly attending DunderCon, can you imagine the kind of merch that's going to be at this thing? I mean, this is a first-time event. I don't really know what to expect. I don't know if any of us really do, except for those who are organizing the thing. But I'm excited. It's going to be like a circus, like in the best possible way.
We had a convention in Scranton for the show in 2007. And there were 15,000 people from all over the world, and from Ireland, from Australia. I mean, we had gotten these letters, or emails, but from the travel coordinators. You're police people, and I'm like, police people. Well, you needed one. I didn't think, I'm six. Like I said, I'm 6'5", 230. I don't need a policeman, but I did when I was there, because the minute you walked out of the motel, I mean. Or the hotel, there were, the crowds were there, and we love our fans. I mean, all they want is a picture or an autograph. I mean, so that's what we're there to do, and spread a little love, little office love.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, again, I want to touch on this real quick, because I think so many people kind of live in that bubble. Look, when you're binging The Office 10 times in your life, you don't have much time to watch anything else. So I think there's a lot of people out there who know you specifically and maybe exclusively as Bob Vance, but you've had this long career. I mean, by my count, since 1984, I did the math here, you haven't really gone more than 2 years without being involved in a movie of some sort, and then tons of TV projects in between all that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about being a middle-class actor is I worked in commercials, I worked in TV, I worked in theater, I worked in films. And even if there's not a credit for a year, that doesn't mean that I wasn't busting my ass, pitching. And I'm also a writer, so I'm writing scripts, I'm writing teleplays, I'm always producing. I'm doing something in the business. When I first started, I was in the best class in LA with the best teacher. Meg Ryan was in my class, Michelle Pfeiffer, Nicolas Cage. I mean, it was crazy. And what I did was every day I lived across the street from a place called Rocket Video. And every day I was watching movies. I was watching the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1960s. And I was learning how to be a filmmaker. I was watching film. I mean, so I was educating myself. I mean, and I'd say always when people ask me for advice, the best advice I can give you is to be the best reader that you can be, because you're in the language business. I mean, you're here to emote the language. That's what actors do. Behave. You know, we learn how to fake behavior. So you know, I don't like to overanalyze acting. I mean, people talk too much about it. I mean, everybody has their own secrets, but I think if you want to listen to somebody talk about acting, listen to Laurence Olivier, because his respect for the theater, you know, is I mean, when you listen to him talk about acting, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that I think is interesting about The Office and yourself and so many others who are part of the show is you think back and you realize that really almost nobody who was on The Office was a big name who could kind of control their own destiny in their careers before they got on The Office. The Office made everybody a star, but at the heart of things, you were all kind of those working actors who were just looking for the best possible gigs. Did you feel that vibe, like the fact that everyone kind of came from that same place of just trying to be a part of and create something great?
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, because what happens, I've always likened it. I was a basketball player when I was young, so I've always likened it to a great basketball team. They love to pass the ball. They don't worry about who gets the shot, right? I mean, on our show, Michael got the laugh lines. I mean, clearly, I mean, he was the funniest character there. I mean, although everybody got a chance to shine, I mean, that had a lot to do, I think, with the way that the series is shot, the way it's covered. You know, Pam and Jim and everybody gets these great talking heads, you know, where they're intimate with the office. I mean, with the audience. It changes the whole thing when you tear that wall down. So, I mean, that's the immediacy of it. But I used to marvel. There were some takes where I would just think, you know, the team play. I mean, for instance, the bidding scene for the kiss, Phyllis's hug in Primade. That is musical. If you watch that now, everybody is just so perfectly on the bidding there on that one take that made broadcast. We only did that 2 or 3 times, but we all knew immediately after that take. We just kind of looked around and went, "No, that's it right there. That was perfect." Not going to. And we did it one more time after that, but it wasn't as good, and we already knew. You know, boom, nailed it. We got that one. But I think once on Women's Appreciation, I was doing a scene where I come in and comfort Phyllis after she's been, you know, violated with a flasher in the parking lot. And I was standing just off the stage, and you know, it was the main room there. And so the cameras are always seeing 360, so you never know, you know, when it's gonna get you. So you have to be behaving consistently throughout the piece, regardless of where the camera is or what it's doing. So that also influences actor behavior, because they're used to, here's your close up, here's your mid-range shot, here's your wide shot. You know, I mean, it's a completely different way of shooting. So that changes the way that you behave. And we had a lot of pros who came in to work on the show who were confused by it at first. You know, they're not used to that. Wait, where is it? Cause
it's everywhere.
You got to learn how to feel where they are, and when they're, you know, after they're going to grab something and they're moving on. You know, the guys with the cameras, Randall Einhorn and Matt Son, were really stars in and of their own right. You know, they came off of Survivor, the first couple episodes, you know, first couple seasons of it. So they were out in the wilderness carrying 75-pound cameras shooting some crazy stuff. So when they're in shooting, you know, 25 actors in one room, it's actually much easier on them.
Yeah. Now, as far as the character of Bob Vance, what was the initial plan for this guy? Did you know that he was going to be somebody who was ever present for, you know, season after season and such a big part of the show?
Oh, no. No. I never knew anything like that. And you never ask. I mean, that's verboten. You know, you're like, if somebody passes on one of your scripts or you don't get a part, you never ask. You never say, hey, how come? You just move on because
Yeah.
you don't need an explanation. You didn't get it. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know why. You just got to go be better. So no, I didn't know anything. I never knew anything. Every time they called, it was always a blessing. I was always happy to be involved in it. I always wanted more. That's the trap. Uh, as I said, I was a basketball player. I wanted to be in the game. Lots of times there were teams that I sat on the bench, on the end of the bench. I was not the best player. I was maybe the worst player on that team. So I got to watch, right? But that didn't mean I didn't want to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in the in the mix. So
in the mix.
But so I think what I did stumble on, Jerry, about the role is, and what I think people respond to most of all is, the love for Phyllis. I mean, we just decided in Casino Night in season 2, I said to her, you remember your first love in junior high school? You didn't have eyes for anybody else. That was it. That's the only thing in your life is that person. Let's do that. So that's what we did. From that point on, every scene Bob's in, it's all about Phyllis. Watch it now. Everything Bob does is all about Phyllis. So did the writers make Bob weird as time went on? Yes. Yes, he got progressively weirder. You're having sex in a disabled bathroom on Valentine's Day. That's weird. But the challenge for me as an actor is when I first read it, I was like, oh, hell no. But I have to figure out a way to make it work, And it's actually a very funny moment because Phyllis and I are alone in this bathroom with a sound guy. And it's dark. And there's all these people standing out in the hallway, and they're going, okay, let's make some noise. Let's make some noise in there. So we have to start making this noise. But they let us go on for like a minute, and I'm telling her before the take, I'm like, you realize they're going to use 5 seconds, if that, of it. So they keep working us because they think it's funny. And it was funny. Oh, baby. Oh, yeah. More, faster.
But you know what? In a way, if you look at the show and all the relationships that developed and went wrong and had struggles, you guys were maybe the best pure relationship on the show. Like you guys had the kind of love that everyone else was aspiring to.
Well, so you're right about that, and we're the least likely. We're not the glamour pups like Jim and Pam, or the star-crossed lover. Michael, any relationship Michael's in. Although I was a big Holly fan. I mean, for me, Holly was always the right choice for Michael. I mean, plus I'm a big Amy Ryan. I'm a big Amy Ryan fan. I mean, I love talking to her.
Yeah. No, it's
she's a great talent.
Absolutely. I think that in the end, I think all the major relationships on that show, yours included, I think fans look back on with a lot of fondness, and yours just happens to be the one that I think got to where they wanted to be and needed to be more smoothly than the others. So you got to be the example for everybody else.
2 words, true love.
Yep.
Jerry, I did a movie with Melora Hardin, Jan Levinson from the show.
Yeah, we've had her on this show before. Yep.
It's called Caged, and she and I are the prison guards, and I'm the good one. He's the bad one.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's a man incarcerated, and we're not really sure if he's guilty of the crime or not, but she's going to drive him crazy anyway. It's right up there with some of the the most vile prison guards of all time. I mean, she had me scared to death.
That's the basis for what could be some amazing fan fiction that some Office fans out there may be looking to jump off of.
Well, first of all, what are the odds that the two? But then John and David Denman showed up in 13 Hours, the Benghazi story, and they're phenomenal in that picture. I mean, they were both. What are the odds that 2 guys from The Office ended up in a war movie like that? I mean, it's very slim, but they were both insanely good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean the what people have done since then proves just how great the cast was. I mean, you look at Oscar, for instance. This guy, Oscar is so ridiculously talented. I mean, he could carry a whole show by himself, as could most of that cast. I mean, truth be told, I mean, you could single all of them out. But what made it great was it's an ensemble, and nobody's trying to be the glory dog. Everybody's willing to share the screen, share the moment. There's no divas. There's no prima donnas. You know, there's no I in team, and that's what made it great. And we were having fun. If you don't have fun, the fun will not make its way into the show or the movie or the play or whatever it is that you're doing. So, you know, it's pretty basic.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. What would you say, looking back for you, is your favorite Bob Vance moment?
Well, there's so many of them, almost every one of them, really. But we had a screening of Phyllis's wedding at Greg Daniels' house the night it was on broadcast. We watched it live.
Okay.
Party for the cast and the creators. And I'm standing on the front porch with Phyllis, and who walks up but Harold Ramis. Now, I'm a huge Harold Ramis fan. I have been my whole life. I mean, he's a great actor, a great director, a great writer. I mean, it's Harold Ramis. He knows comedy. So we're all watching the episode, and I'm kind of watching Harold Ramis watch the episode because we're making him laugh. And we get to the line where I say to Michael, if you ever lay a finger on Phyllis, I'll kill you. Well, I kill the room. The room, it comes apart right then. And I'm watching him, and I'm like, I just killed him. I'm like, I just killed Harold Ramis. Done. I'm officially done here.
Yeah. Mic drop. Yeah.
Waiter, check. You know, what else can I do? Really?
That's awesome.
You know, I mean, you like to impress your peers and your mentors and your, you know, the people you look up to. And so when you get the opportunity, and you never knew you were going to have that chance to enjoy watching it with such a, you know, great comedian that, I mean, it was a real treat.
Yeah, and it goes back to kind of what we've been talking about, what you've been saying about the entire cast of the show. Everybody was so supremely talented. Not everybody was a big name before. They're all giant stars now because The Office continues to snowball and become more and more of a part of our pop culture. But yeah, I mean, all of you, anyone who was a part of that show, there's this credibility there now, I think, that everyone looks at you guys as potentially being, you know, just part of that upper echelon of entertainment. And I think it's awesome.
Said it. He told John and everyone else, I mean, and Dwight will always be known for this. And you're talking about Steve Carell. I mean, look at the movies that Steve Carell's made. I mean, the guy's amazing. His range is ridiculous. Watch that. What was it? Firefox, where he's the wrestling coach. I mean,
yes, yeah.
And then compare that to Anchorman, and then tell me, you know, I mean, seriously, that's a long way between those two.
Yeah,
so there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, Yul Brynner, who was a great actor, you know, he was known for The King and I, which was a stage performance that he did thousands of times. For a long time, he quit because he was like, okay, I've just done it too much. Can't do it anymore. And then he went back to it like 10 years later. He was like, oh, I need to go back. Because he was identified, and people were like, don't you get tired of doing the same thing every night? He was like, no, every night's different. You know, and so it is I think that's one of the attractions, to tell you the truth, of the theater, is that every night is different. That's part of the appeal.
Yeah. And look, if you want something different, if you want something unique, I think you're going to have a lot of different and unique interactions coming up August 6th, 7th at DunderCon. This is going to be an atmosphere for you fans of the show, or even if you're not yet a fan of the show, just if you're in the area to attend. And of course, here, right here on our YouTube channel here at Celebrity Stage Stories, we are going to be there all weekend long, covering the event live and giving you interviews and showing you everything that's going on over there. So it's going to be exciting for all of us. And we're excited to catch up with you in person there. We're hopefully going to be able to say hi to everybody. And it's going to be a great weekend.
Oh my God. You got a ton of material coming up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Think of all the editing.
I'm scared.
Oh
It's
no, it's great. Oh no.
it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. And
I'm joking, but there is a lot of work ahead of you here now. You've taken on a big project here.
absolutely, I know, but it will be worth it. We've got a lot of excitement from you guys, you viewers, you listeners, you fans of the show already for what is in store, and we hope to over deliver on bringing you into DunderCon for those of you who can't be there. But for those who can be there, you're going to be able to meet so many of the stars of The Office, including Bobby Ray. I know you're probably already thinking about packing and what. I mean, are you going to be part of Q&A panels, or do you know what your schedule is yet?
I don't know, but I'm sure. I mean, I once told somebody, when we had the one I was talking about before in 2007, we did a Q&A in front of, I think it was like 7,000 people. It was crazy. And as they came, I was all the way at the end of one table. I think me and David Wallace and Phyllis were down at one end. And as they came down the table, everybody was just more brilliant than the one before them. So the pressure was just mounting. And I was sitting there going, whatever you do, be funny.
Yeah, well, and this is actually a conversation that I've even had with one of the coordinators of the event. From the feedback they're getting from people who are attending the show and from their own personal opinion, they're really looking at this as every single one of you, all of the stars who are appearing at this show, all the guests, you're all equally important because you're all a part of that same universe of The Office. You're important to them, and you're important in the eyes of everyone who's going to be there because they've seen all of you. They know all of your lines. They know all of your stuff. And so it truly is an ensemble event coming up at DunderCon. You're all going to get mobbed, in other words.
Well, I think it's 20 plus cast members, right?
It is. It is. Yeah, they say it's the largest by the numbers. I mean, and it ranges from regular cast members to recurring to people who've been on the show for one episode.
Yeah. Cool Guy Paul is coming now. It's official. In fact, I recommended, Cool Guy Paul. I was jealous of the cool guy, part of his name, but I accepted it because he is a cool guy.
That's good. That's good. Hey, if you can't beat him, join him.
One episode, all how he met them and the whole thing. They flew him out. I mean, it's a crazy good story. And, he handled himself really well. I mean, you walk onto a show like that, and you shoot it and you go home. I mean, not too many people got to do that.
No, it's everybody has an awesome story both on the screen and
That's right.
probably behind the camera as well. So it's going to be awesome to hear. I know there are Q&A panels scheduled all through the weekend. You got Creed Bratton playing a concert Saturday night, so there's all kinds of insane stuff going on.
Creed had a bunch of #1 hits when he was in the Grassroots. For goodness sakes, he's a genuine rock and roll hero. This guy, I love listening to Creed play. He and Ed Helms used to, practice all the time between takes, and it was some of the most fun stuff ever.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they were virtuosos on those guitars.
Yeah, it's going to be a true diverse multimedia experience all weekend long. So it'll be exciting, man. And we can't wait to see everyone.
It's next week, isn't it? Really?
It's, as we're recording this right now, it is a little over a week away. Yeah. Which means hopefully when
you
yeah.
My outfits.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, we'll see you.
I'm going with the white ensemble one day and the black ensemble the next day.
There you go. That's
I'm keeping it basic. I have a lot of options.
Bob Vance always kept it pretty basic. That's what made him great.
That was the key to the character. Was he was a U.S. Marine combat infantry officer, Vietnam. Hello. Does that explain a little bit about Bob?
Right.
Think about it. Do you think you're worried about Michael Scott if you were a combat infantry officer in Vietnam? No, you're not. Ever.
Not at all.
Ever.
Absolutely. Well, Look, it was great to catch up with you. I know that you're busy because you're getting ready to go. It's like a week away, but we're excited to see you in person. For
It was
those of you who can't be there, we'll be excited to maybe see some more of you with us filming in person there and bringing
absolutely.
the content out to the people. And we're just excited for all of it. We're excited to watch The Office for the 11th time in the meantime.
We're binge watching.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being a part of this wacky series of conversations that we
Yeah.
have going on here.
All right. Thank you, Jerry.
All right. Thanks, Bobby. And thank you all for checking us out. Celebrity Stage Stories. We will see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Take care.